For the past 3 weeks, I've been hitting the gym 6 days a week and I've been feeling great. I don't feel tired. I feel like I can push just as hard every single workout. I'm training with intensity and my health and my mood and my energy is amazing, even though I train that much. And most people can't do that. Most people, if they were to train 6 days a week, they'd get burned out and they wouldn't feel good and they'd start making excuses to not go to the gym because they're not feeling good again. They're not feeling recovered enough to go hit another workout. And I don't have that problem. And that's because most people are not recovering properly. The thing is, most people are not overtraining, they're under recovering, and that's the problem. And so I want to give you a great example. Before, I used to do legs. I'd do legs once every week or once every 2 weeks, because as soon as I did legs, I'd get so sore that for like 4 or 5 days I couldn't even do another leg day because I was just so sore. And then after that, I just kind of felt a bit tired and I just didn't want to do legs anymore, and so I kept pushing and pushing and procrastinating. But for the past 3 weeks, I've been hitting legs twice a week, and that's all because I've been recovering properly. And a good example of recovery is like stretching, for example, helped me a lot for legs. For example, before I started stretching, I could only hit legs maybe once a week at best, right? But now I can hit legs twice a week, and that's all because I started stretching. And I stretch every night, and I literally don't feel sore anymore, even though I push just as hard, if not even harder, with more intensity in the gym. But just because I started to stretch just a little bit every single night, 5 to 10 minutes, the soreness is completely gone, and I feel like I can train way more with way more intensity and get way more gains. And so that's the problem. That was just one example. But in general, most people, why they can't train 6 times a week, and honestly, if you're not training 6 times a week, you're missing out on gains. Because yes, you can train only 2 to 3 to 4 times a week and still get a lot of gains, don't get me wrong. But if you were to train 6 times a week, you'd get even more gains. The thing is, most people, they say, oh, 6 times a week, that's way too much. But that's way too much because their recovery is shit. And because they don't recover properly, they're not able to push that hard anymore. And so when they go to train, they have a shit workout, which doesn't bring them any gain. And so if you just go and spend, I don't know, a lot of energy to get a little bit of muscle mass, then it's not worth it. But if you recovered properly, you're not only going to put more energy, but you're also going to get more muscles and more fit. And so in this video, I want to tell you exactly what I do to recover properly every single day, so I feel amazing, even though I train 6 times a week. And let's get straight into it. So the first and most important thing, the base, the foundation of everything, is your sleep. Now, I cannot stress this enough. Every time I talk to people and they tell me, oh yeah, I sleep whenever, sometimes I sleep at midnight, sometimes I sleep at 1 a.m, sometimes if I'm lucky, I might sleep at 9 p.m. or some shit like that. It pisses me off a little bit, because sleep is, let me tell you this, sleep is so important that it survived the test of evolution. Like, think about it. If sleep was not necessary, and if sleep was something that we could, reduce or completely eliminate, don't you think that evolution would have somehow gotten rid of it? Like, think about it. Sleep is just when you're in this position of being vulnerable and you're not hunting, you're not gathering, you're not providing for your family, you're not doing anything. So looking at it from an outside perspective, sleep is just completely a waste of time. But evolution still, to this day, prioritized sleep, and thousands of years later, we're still here needing 8, 9, 10 hours of sleep. And so if it's that important, if it withstood the test of time, and after thousands of years, we still need as much sleep as we did back then, Well, if that's not enough to convince you that sleep is important, then I don't know what to tell you. You're just an idiot, to be honest. And so the reason why you can't train that hard, even though you don't feel like it right now, I promise you that if you were to get enough sleep, I'm talking 8, 9, 10 hours of sleep, if you were to get that every single night, consistent, waking up at the same time, going to bed at the same time, having a consistent sleep schedule, optimizing everything, having a cool room, blackout curtains, reading before sleep, getting deep sleep, having high quality sleep and high quantity as well, I promise you that you would recover so much, and you wouldn't have this problem of not feeling energy and feeling too tired to go hit the gym. And you wouldn't have this problem of diminishing returns, that if you go to the gym 6 times a week, you wouldn't get as much gains because on the 6th or 5th session you're too tired or some bullshit like that. You'd feel amazing every single day. And so sleep is very important. You need to lock in on your sleep. So don't overlook this, please don't overlook this. Sleep is fucking important. So the next point is your diet, but most importantly, eating healthy foods for sure. Like, we don't want junk food, we don't want processed food that literally don't have any micronutrient and don't have energy that our body can use. You're just feeding junk to fill your stomach, but your body can't use that junk to produce energy. So you probably don't need to be convinced that junk food is bad for you. Obviously, we want to eat healthy foods: eggs, meat, rice, pasta, potatoes, fruits, vegetables, stuff like that. But obviously you want to get your protein as well. So try to eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, and you'll be good protein wise. Also make sure you don't be an idiot about this. Like, if you're about to hit a workout, try to get some carbs before to get energy, and get protein throughout the day. So these things are a bit basic. You probably know this, you probably don't. If you didn't know this, well, now you do. But this is not what I wanted to talk about specifically when I talk about diet. When I speak about diet, I want specifically to tell you to be in a caloric surplus, especially if you're young like me. And when I say young, I think that anyone below 22 shouldn't even consider cutting. Like, I used to be fat as fuck, right? And so I went on a cut, and I reduced my calorie. I was barely eating, and I lost a lot of weight. I did very good. But if I could go back, I'd probably tell to myself, no, don't cut. Just stop eating the bullshit you're eating. Stop eating the snacks. Stop binge eating. Stop eating the McDonald's, the pizzas and everything. Just start eating clean. Start at the minimum, eat your maintenance. Because if you eat in a caloric deficit, you're robbing yourself of energy. And especially if you're still growing, your body needs energy, needs nutrient to grow. Like, if you want to, grow muscle, grow taller, just grow into a fucking man, then you need energy, you need nutrients in your food. And if you're in a caloric deficit, you're literally robbing yourself of energy. So yes, sleep is important. Yes, if you're fat, you probably want to lose weight, but at the same time, you also need energy. You need food, nutrient to grow. So I would tell you to get into a caloric surplus, or at least stay at your maintenance. Never go in a cutting phase. If you're really like, you're obese, you're fat, well then just stay at your maintenance and go train. Because the magic thing that happens when you're fat and you're new to the gym is that by eating at your maintenance, if you cut out all the junk food, all the bullshit food, the snacks, the sweeties, everything, well then you can still lose weight. Obviously, you're not going to get shredded at 12% body fat if you're not cutting, but you can get to about 20, even below 20% body fat, while still being at your maintenance if you eat healthy and you train, right? Cutting is interesting if you're like older and you've already built the muscle, you've already built the physique, the foundation, and now you want to look shredded 12% body fat. But if you're not there yet, if you barely have any muscles, and if you're quite young and you're still growing, then I think being in a caloric surplus is going to benefit you not only to grow, but to give you more energy for your workouts, so that you don't feel tired and that you feel energized by this high volume week training, and that by doing this high volume, you're able to push harder, make more muscles, so that when you're older and you've built the physique, and that now you want to cut, you're going to actually look amazing because you have a strong foundation of muscles that once you've cut is going to be revealed. I'm so hungry right now, bro. What? This gremlin is going crazy. All right. So the third point is stretching. How can I explain to you in words that I used to do leg day? I've told you about this in the beginning of this video. I used to do leg day, and I'd feel sore for like 5 days straight. 5 whole days of literally sitting down to take a shit and feeling pain in my legs and in my glutes. Literally walking up the stairs and literally walking slowly, blocking the way for everyone behind me in the school trying to get up the stairs. Literally 5 days, crazy. But as soon as I started to stretch, literally 5 to 10 minutes every single night, it disappeared. The soreness disappeared. After only 3-4 days of stretching, I was literally hitting more weights on the squats, more weights on the RDLs, more weights on the Bulgarian split squat. I was pushing harder. I was doing heavy ass hip thrusts, but still, no soreness. And that's all because I stretched. And so I really want you to implement this because it doesn't take long, right? 5 minutes before bed is nothing, bro. You spend hours on your phone and you're telling me you don't have 5 minutes to stretch? So I really suggest that you start implementing stretching. I think that stretching is very good for legs. I don't really stretch my upper body because I think that the soreness that I get literally fades away. Like I don't really feel, if I hit a really hard chest day, I might feel a bit of soreness the next day for a bit, but you know, it doesn't like hurt me. But I know that when your legs are sore, it's a whole nother feeling, right? And you probably know this already. So stretching, especially your legs, is going to literally change your life, and it's going to allow you to train twice a week. And because you're locked in on your routine is locked in, and you do train legs twice a week, you're able to stay more consistent. You don't allow yourself to say, oh, well, I'm tired, so I'm not going to hit legs because I'm still sore, and then your whole workout split just gets all messed up because you skipped a day and then you skip the other and then you don't feel like it, and then it's just hard to stay consistent. So stretching is going to be amazing at getting rid of that soreness, making you feel like loose and fresh in your body. Even after I literally hit the most brutal leg day yesterday. Like I did squats, I did RDLs, I did Bulgarian split squat, I did hip thrust, I did I did the isolation machine, I did a bit of calf raise, and I feel good. I feel amazing right now. I could go and play basketball. I could go and jump. I feel good, and that's all because I stretch. And so don't overlook this. Stretching is very important for recovery, especially for legs. So what muscle should you stretch? Stretch. Whoa. How should you stretch? Should you what exercise are good for stretching? Well, if you really have zero idea, you don't know any stretches, then probably look up a YouTube video, right? But most likely you probably do know a few stretches that you know would feel good, right? You know a couple of stretches that, if you stand up and you try to touch your toes, or if you grab your foot and you just, I don't know how to, and then you just pull it back and try to stretch your quad. You probably know a few, right? And so just do the ones because you don't need any fancy technique stretch that really targets the actual third part of your quad. You don't need to get that specific. Just do the ones for 5-10 minutes and try to get into a routine every single night. I suggest doing it at night and not right after the workout, because it's just more optimal to leave some space before in between the workout and the stretching. Just do it every night. Try to implement it in your routine, and do the stretches for 5-10 minutes. Maybe put on some nice music if you find it too boring, and you're going to feel a lot better. And so my last point was, do not train more than 1 hour to 1 hour 30. Like, I see a lot of people, they just go to the gym and they just stay there for like 3 hours. And it's like, what are you doing for 3 hours? Like, it's like they're trying to make up for all the time they haven't went or something like that. It's just complete. It's like, what? Why do you stay 3 hours in the gym? Well, like, what's there? Like, you trained your muscles, and then once they're exhausted, once you've touched them a little bit, and you've trained the muscles, there's no need to stay more than 1 hour to 1 hour 30. You're just putting on more volume, getting more fatigued, and you're not even getting that much result in the session. And not only that, but because you've worked so much, now the next day you're not going to be as recovered, and so you're not going to be able to push that hard, and so you're not going to be able to be as optimal in your next session. And so it doesn't make any sense. It's way better for you to just focus for 1 hour, get the best result for your effort, and then because what happens when you go over 1 hour, 1 hour 30 of working out, you just start to add junk volume. Like, you're fatiguing your muscles, but you're not growing. And so it's like you're just beating it up for no reason, and you're just getting more fatigued, but you're not getting any more gains. So you're just wasting time, basically. Not only that, but on the next day you're going to feel more fatigued, and you're not going to be able to train that hard. And so it just gets into this vicious cycle, and it just kills your gains. And so if you want to be able to train 6 times a week, you can't stay 3 hours every single day, and you probably don't even have the time to stay consistent with 3 hour gym sessions. So 1 hour to 1 hour 30. Keep this simple. Keep the session short and sweet and simple. And 1 hour is plenty, by the way. Like, anyone that tells you need to stay more than 1 hour to build muscle, they don't know shit. 1 hour is plenty to make gains, to make muscle, to build muscle. The key is consistency. Doesn't matter if you go 3 hours every single week or every single 2 weeks, and then you don't go because you're not consistent, you're not disciplined, you're feeling tired or some bullshit. Go 1 hour, 6 days a week, and you're going to be way more consistent, make way more gains, and it's going to be way better for you. You're going to feel way better about yourself. So don't keep the session too long. 1 hour to 1 hour 30 is the perfect time. Did I have anything else to say? No, I think that was it. So the reason why you're not able to train 6 times a week is because your recovery is shit. And so I've told you what I do for recovery. I lock in on my sleep. My diet is on point. I'm in caloric surplus. I'm not telling you to eat like 10,000 calories. Just be a little bit in a surplus. Allow yourself to have fuel and energy to boost you in your workout. Stretch every single night, especially for legs. And don't stay 3-4 hours in the gym. That's complete bullshit. You only need to stay 1 hour to 1 hour 30 to get optimal result. Stay consistent, and you're going to get the most shredded, well, maybe not shredded because you're in caloric surplus, right? But you're going to be able to train with way more intensity, way more energy, and you are going to make the best gains of your life. And by the way, I know I've said this before, but when people I say, oh, caloric surplus, or if you don't want to become fat, you just eat healthy foods, eat more protein, and you're going to build muscle and not fat. Like, just because you're in the caloric surplus doesn't mean you're going to become fatter. Like, I'm about at 18% body fat maybe, and I'm in a caloric surplus. I've been in a caloric surplus for like September, and I haven't even gained that much weight, right? Like, when I say, yeah, I probably gained a few pounds. Yes, but when I mean I haven't gained that much weight, I don't look any more fatter. In fact, I look a bit bigger because it goes into my muscle, right? So it all comes down to your to what you eat. If you eat more protein, if you eat healthy foods, then your body's going to use that to serve you. If you eat bullshit, well, you're going to look fat. And the truth is, you can still get into 18-20% body fat, even if you're in a bit of a surplus or you stay at your maintenance. So don't stress too much about food. And yeah, that's just a side point that I wanted to make. I don't know why. So yeah, implement this, lock in on your recovery, and you're going to be able to train 6 times a week, no problem. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe, give a like, and follow for, well, actually, if you subscribe, you don't need to follow because you subscribe, so you're already following me. Anyway, like, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.